Yeah, so our virtue signal bill that will take the custody of a child away from a parent who doesn't affirm their identity is on the governor's desk as we speak. Yeah, I know, it's a shoo-in. Of course he's going to sign it. Hold on just 1 second. Yeah. I understand. You there? Newsom didn't sign the bill. Yes. Of course I know what this means. Newsom is a right-wing extremist. Hey, I just want to say real quick, we got some of our new merch out right now. This is one of my favorite shirts, Read the Bible. If you want to support this channel, you can check out the link below. It says shop our merch. Howdy y'all, I'm Brylan. We all know that California is an absolute cesspool of wickedness and disgust. And that's why my family and I fled California at the end of last year, as well as many family members of ours have left California because it's beyond repair, which I'm not saying don't be a light in the darkness if you're there, but it's really getting to the point of jeopardizing the lives of especially your children if you remain in that state. However, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just recently did something that is rather shocking. But I think we all know the reason why. If you follow my channel at all, you would know that I posted a video a couple weeks ago that's called This New Law is Terrifying. And it was about this new law in California that got passed by the assembly and was on its way to the governor's desk. And it was a law called AB 957. Now, this is an older article when the bill was first being introduced that showed how radical it is. I mean, to its core, it is a radical, insane bill that actually has its roots in a law that is already in place. So there's some confusion here between, does this actually add something new to California or just continue to define a law that is already in place, which it just continues to define a law and radicalize a law that's already in place. That's a law that's already radical. Let me show you. And then we'll get into the shocking thing that Gavin Newsom did with this bill, AB 957. This is a law that would consider it abusive for a parent to not affirm a child's identity and would deny custody to non-affirming parents during custody disputes. An updated version of the bill specifically defines a child's health, safety, and welfare to include the parent's affirmation of the child's identity. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm living in a different world. This is like the Hunger Games. This is insane. Senator Scott Wilk, a Republican from Santa Clarita, one of the two senators who voted against the bill, warned parents of its serious danger during the bill's hearing. In the past, when we've had these discussions and I've seen parental rights atrophied, I've encouraged people to keep fighting, he said. But check out what this senator said about his own state. I've changed my mind on that. If you love your children, you need to flee California. You need to flee. And then check out this absolutely heartbreaking story. Unfortunately, the danger of such legislation is a lesson that some California parents have had to learn the hard way. Abigail Martinez testified in opposition to AB 957, telling the story of her daughter, Yaley, who passed away 3 years ago. She says, "My daughter was murdered by this ideology." She said, "My daughter was taken from her loving home because the state of California claimed I was abusive for not affirming her identity. I lost my daughter over a name and a pronoun." All the while, as she gave this testimony in front of those who would pass this bill, they smirked. Your daughter deserved what she got, because you didn't affirm. And that's exactly what these kind of things are implementing when these types of bills are passed and signed into law. And we must continue to fight to ensure that this type of radicalization does not get passed in other states. So I want to read this little snippet about the bill here and then show you what Gavin Newsom did with AB 957. It says, there is no nuance in this bill. It matters not the age of the child, the absurdity of the identity adopted, comorbid mental health issues, or persistence. Family court judges will be compelled to favor the parent who will affirm the child. Parents can easily game the system and use identity as retaliation against each other. What happens when one parent will socially affirm the child but will not agree to medicalize? Does the parent willing to do more transitioning prevail? It basically becomes a battle of, no, I'll deprave my child more. No, I will, judge. Well, in a shocking turn of events, the bill went to Newsom's desk, and Newsom vetoed the bill that would require parents to affirm a child's identity in custody battles, AB 957. However, check this out, a law already exists requiring courts to consider a parent's affirmation of the child's identity, Newsom adds. Now, Newsom vetoed this bill, and I'm going to show you some reactions from the ones who created this bill and tried to get it passed. It's wild to think that Newsom would veto this bill. This is everything that Newsom claims to stand for. So why would he veto it? Well, it's pretty simple when you think of Gavin Newsom wants to become the president of the United States. And he knows that this is such an insanely radical bill. He goes, that's what's so messed up about our politicians, is that their desires are to do absolute wickedness, depraved, disgusting, disturbing wickedness. Yet they know that they can't be too upfront about it because they have to continue to win elections. And they know that a majority of the people that they need to win the election won't vote for them if they go too far in their wickedness, so they hold it back just enough to still be appealing to the masses. And then when they gain just a little bit more power, they unveil their wickedness to an even greater degree. And people all along go along and say, oh, I didn't even see it coming, when it was obvious from the start if you just open your eyes. In a statement released Friday, Newsom expressed his reservations about the bill. He said he appreciates the passion and values that led to the bill's introduction, but urged caution. Other-minded elected officials in California and other states could very well use this strategy to diminish the civil rights of vulnerable communities, Newsom said, noting that existing laws already require courts to consider a child's health, safety, and welfare, including the parent's affirmation of the child's identity. Wilson, who had been an advocate for rights, expressed disappointment in the governor's decision, of course. However, on this point, the governor and I disagree on the best way to protect LGBT kids, adding that her intent was to give a voice to LGBT children, particularly in the family court system where she claims non-affirming parent could negatively impact the child's mental health. We see that Democrats are very much in favor of your children are not your children. Your children are all of our children. They don't want you to truly have the ability to be the parent of a child. They want to be the parent of your child.
Rebecca put a teacher's creed into words when she said, there's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children.
Weiner, of course, who also criticized the governor's veto, writing on X that it was a tragedy for LGBT kids and labeled it a mistake. He argued that the bill would have ensured that courts take into account a child's chosen identity and whether parents would be supportive. Yet there's already a bill in place for this, which is radical enough. The fact that this is even a part of law there, but they're just radicalizing that law and making it sound as if they don't pass this, there's no other safe way for a child to survive in California. In fact, even Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, had also weighed in on the bill, and this is what Muss said. He described it as a wolf in sheep's clothing and called it utter madness. We are sitting back as they ignite the fires around us, and we just watch hunky-dory as everything burns. Now here's Wiener's Twitter. Wow, I really didn't like saying that. The senator from California who was one of the big proponents of this bill, and he's created a number of bills that have passed in California, but I want to show you what they did pass. He said, "We are thrilled that 6 of our priority bills and 2 of our endorsed bills were signed into law today." AB 5. If you are a teacher, basically, you have to go through re-education training to learn how to be affirming and all the things. SB 407. Foster youth protections. That means you will not be able to adopt a child if you are not affirming. SB 857. This is a task force that California will create. This is now law, and this task force will go around school to school and ensure that they are LGB prioritized. Now the Bible says in Isaiah chapter 5, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." It says, woe to those who put themselves above God and try to usurp God by twisting the meanings of what is truly good and what is truly evil. Check out Psalm chapter 21, starting in verse 8, talking about the victorious strength of the Lord. "Your hand will find out all your enemies. Your hand will find out those who hate you. You will make them as a blazing oven when you appear. The Lord will swallow them up in his wrath, and fire will consume them. You will destroy their descendants from the earth, and their offspring from among the children of man. Though they plan evil against you, though they devise mischief, they will not succeed, for you will put them to flight. You will aim at their faces with your bows. Be exalted, O Lord, in your strength. We will sing and praise your power." Remember this, that God wins in the end. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community, I would love to hear from you regularly. And please hit that thumbs up button as well. You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread this message. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.